Hello and welcome to Southwest Championship Wrestling, television's most exciting hour. I'm Joe Blanchard, pinch hitting for Gene Goodson, and hey, do we have a lot of action for you. Chief Wahoo McDaniel's battling Juan Reynosa on the first match. David Anderson, El Fantastico, Relampico Leon will be here. Tully Blanchard, the Southwest Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. The Butcher will be here. Hey, a galaxy of stars in this next hour, and here's probably the star of stars, Chief Wahoo McDaniel's Texas greatest athlete.
Well, you know, Joe, it's good to be back. You know, last week I was up in the Omni in Atlanta where we did a fantastic sellout crowd of about 17,000 people. I've been traveling all over, you know, searching for those titles. And then I got to thinking, what am I searching for? The title I want is right here in San Antonio. Tully Blanchard has the title, Southwest Heavyweight Champion. So I came home. I was on the road all last week. Now I'm home resting up, you know, and I've been thinking about it. There's only one way we could rightfully settle this thing. The man, you know, he gets disqualified, he gets counted out, and he runs. And he wakes up in the morning, he's still got his belt. Well, let me tell you something, Tully Blanchard, and I'm challenging you right here on TV. Let's have a cage match. A cage match is an 8-foot wire fence, completely enclosed the ring. You and I get in there, and then the best man walks out, and the best man will have that Southwest Championship around his waist. I'm telling you, this is the only way you can settle it. I've put up with it. I've put up with everything he's done to me. He's insulted me. He's embarrassed me. He's jumped in on my matches. He's run me in a post. Put him in that cage, and I promise you one thing. When he comes out of there, he'll look like one of those big McDonald's burgers because that's all that'll be left of him.
Well, Tully has Juan Reynosa geared and waiting for you in the ring right now, and I know you're ready for him.
I'm ready. He's got him coached. He's got him pumped up. Get ready, Juan. You're going to have your hands full.
Hey, it's going to be in just a second. Wahoo McDaniel's against Juan Reynosa, and Tully Blanchard is more or less responsible for this match. But it's going to be exciting. And we're ready for action here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. And there's the bell. We're underway. Wahoo McDaniel's against Juan Reynosa. Victor Mata, your third man in the ring. With me here at ringside, Tom Jones and Dan Sanchez. Dan, state inspector with the Texas State Boxing and Wrestling Commission.
Buenas noches, señoras y señores. Tenemos arriba el ring ahorita a Juan Reynosa en contra de Wahoo McDaniel. Y es de 20 minutos y aquí está la acción. Llega el Wahoo agarrando a Juan Reynosa en la primer encuentro.
Dan Sanchez, and hey, Tully has Juan Reynosa coached pretty good, I'll tell you. Juan, who is a very, very good wrestler, a good referee too. But Wahoo, and an arm drag Coach Tully Blanchard. Juan Reynosa, a good referee, and he's a tough wrestler, Dan.
Está bien. Como dice Joe Blanchard, el señor Reynosa es un buen ejemplo que ha puesto Tully Blanchard, que es su protector y está bajo de los auspicios del Bronco Wrestling.
Dan Sanchez will be here as Juan Reynosa snaps a side headlock on Chief Wahoo McDaniel's. Into those ropes. Whoa, and he cuts him right underneath the chin. Whoa. He started to hesitate and came up and whacked Juan Reynosa right underneath the chin with that shot. Another chop and again across those eyes, and I think Tully back over there coaching Juan Reynosa. Tom Jones also here at ringside with a eye on this match. I know he's anxious to get Tully in the ring with that title at stake.
Well, that's true, Joe, but right now, watching this match, Juan Reynosa is a good wrestler, but I think he bit off more than he can chew because nobody wants to get that crazy Indian worked up. There's an old saying, you know, don't get mad, get even, but he does both.
And he's doing that right now. He gets into Juan Reynosa. Into the midsection. Juan over next to the ropes, and Tully again. Wahoo. Tully has to have a seconds license to be out here, but I'm sure he's giving the man some good advice.
Como Tully Blanchard es el maestro de Juan Reynosa, lo tiene ahorita en la esquina, dándole sus mejores maneras de cómo agarrar al indio Wahoo McDaniel.
Wahoo talking to Juan Reynosa, saying he can't help you, quit listening to him. Southwest heavyweight champion Tully Blanchard. Hey, we're going to have world's champ Nick Bockwinkel on. We're going to have a galaxy of stars. Oh, and boy, did he catch him a shot that time. What a pop.
That's bombs away. That's that big famous chop to Wahoo McDaniel. You know, Joe, I'd like to thank the fans for all the cards and letters that they've been sending me, and it really makes me feel good.
I think you're leading for the most popular wrestler award. We're going to let it run a couple of more weeks, Tom, not to try to get, just to get a little better idea. We got a little late start on some of these towns, but they're coming in from all over. As Tully Blanchard reaches through, and Juan Reynosa, he hides it from Mata, but I'm sure you saw it and I saw it as Juan Reynosa rips into Chief Wahoo McDaniels, tearing him. And Wahoo up, and there's blood in the eye of the chief as into those ropes. And here it is, the tomahawk chop, the body press. And a 2 count, and he picks him up. He could have pinned him.
You know, really what happened, let Juan and let Tully Blanchard get him in trouble there.
And a 3 count. There's the 3 count. And Wahoo is after Blanchard. Goes right out of the ring after Tully. Hey, Juan Reynosa shaken up in the ring. Tully Blanchard in the dressing room. And we've got a lot of action coming up right here on the next big match on Southwest Championship Wrestling. We'll be back right after this. Here we are back at ringside on Southwest Championship Wrestling. El Fantastico from south of the border against David Anderson. And there's the bell, and we're underway with more action. Anderson, one half of the great Minnesota Wrecking Crew, a 275-pounder, and El Fantastico at 220 pounds. Certainly not as big, giving away about 50 pounds, but a great little competitor in there. So we're going to have a fine wrestling match from the masked man from south of the border. He can move around. Tom Jones is here along with Dan Sanchez. And Tom, these Wrecking Crew, you've battled the Anderson brothers a couple of times.
Yeah, you know, Joe, I'm going to comment about this match. My friend with the mask on there, he's a good wrestler, but I think he's a little bit outclassed on weight and size and the height. Those Anderson boys are some tough guys, and they won't stop at nothing to win. But I hope my man can pull it off, but my doubts is very poorly right now.
Well, Tom picking a winner out there, and of course these Anderson boys are big rugged customers. There's no doubt about that. As El Fantastico, he's known as, gets that side headlock and works him around. As he wheels him into the ropes, and whoops. Hey, remember, Mil Mascaras, we've seen him, and again, David Anderson with that forearm off the ropes. We got Nick Bockwinkel coming, the world's champ, the world's tag team, and Fantastico, and a drop kick by Fantastico as he shocks David Anderson and comes right back with that side headlock. Do we have action here on Southwest Championship Wrestling? You bet. He wheels the bigger man down to the mat.
You know, Joe's old saying, a good big man is better than a good little man any day because he got that momentum, he's got that weight and that height against him, you know, so that little man got to fight extra hard.
Well, I've seen a lot of great little wrestlers, and Dan Sanchez, here's a great little wrestler himself.
Buenas noches, señoras y señores. Teníamos el segundo match, que está el Fantástico con David Deaton.
A back suplex that really was a wow. He hammered him down to the mat. And Fantastico is shaken up by that back suplex. That was a beauty.
Hey, that hurt. I've had that many a time. That really crossed your running lights.
He got his head grooved into the deck of that ring, and he's wheeling him into the ropes. Fantastico, a very tough and a bear hug by David Anderson off those ropes as he cinches up on a badly shaken up, rugged guy. El Fantastico, I mean, just to come back from a back suplex that he took is something. And boy, the strain in the guts, and he wheels him in there again, working on that back.
You know, Joe, the Anderson come in here, they said they're after the tag team title. I'm looking for a tag team partner myself, and I couldn't think any better man than Wahoo McDaniel. I've been watching that man. He's tough.
He's great, there's no doubt about it. Scott Casey, Tom Jones, Relampico Leon. What do you think of Relampico, the way he's coming along?
Since I've known Leon, he's come a long ways now. The man's going to be a great wrestler one day. You know, anytime you get in that ring, you can always learn, but he's really coming.
Well, that's some of the guys you see almost every week, but we've got the Funk Brothers, the World's Tag Team Champion, the World's Champion Nick Bockwinkel, Mil Mascaras, certainly he's a claimant to the World's Champion, and we got a lot of guys coming in on Southwest Champion, and Fantastico steps out and rings out that arm, and I'll tell you,
You know the problem there now, he's got that arm, but he's going to have to do more damage than that because it's a big man, and he's got to really hurt that man to make him feel it. I mean, bad.
When you get an advantage, Fantastico bleeding out of the mouth a little bit as he's taken some bruises and bangs already from, well, I'll tell you, to come back from that back suplex that he took, phew. And he quits.
You know, the problem there, he's not really putting the pressure on. He hasn't hurt the man yet. You got to do more than that. When you get in the ring with guys like the Anderson, the Butcher, and guys like that, and don't mean to mention your son like Tully, you got to really put the pressure on them because they are waiting on you, man. The first mistake you make, they got you.
That's right. They're good wrestlers, they're tough men, and they're well-conditioned men, and you don't make mistakes out there, and you don't fiddle around because it's Katie bar the door, and Tully's very ruthless in that ring. I got to go for that too. And David Anderson fighting it out with El Fantastico. And Fantastico giving a good account of himself, a masked man from south of the border, Mexico City, as David Anderson pulls him back down to the mat. Big Dave playing the cat and mouse game. After he suplexed him, he thinks he took the steam out, and I think that he feels he can't get hurt. Scoops him and body slams him. Scoops him, throws him into those ropes. And an elbow as he hammers Fantastico down to the mat.
You know, Joe, since I've been in wrestling, I've made a lot of mistakes, and what I try to do now is not to make them, but no matter how long you've been in wrestling, sometimes you kind of go to sleep a little bit and slip.
I'll tell you, Tom, of course, you can look out here and you can see every mistake a guy makes, but in the ring, a lot of times you don't see it until it's too late. It's wacko and the stars is shining.
That is so true because I've done it many a time.
David Anderson. El Fantastico in the ring.
See, that's the way he made a mistake right there. He let the man rest. He had him on the ropes because if he'd have had him against the ropes, he would have hurt him. So you got to hurt guys like that.
Fantastico tries a drop kick, but the longer leg of David Anderson gets through to him, and he puts a blast on him. Front face lock by big 275-pound Minnesota Wrecking Crew, David Anderson. And he backs him into the ropes and rips into him. Shoulder butting him, and Fantastico hanging on as David Anderson pours on the coal. He's into the back. Fantastico just trying to get a breath, and certainly David Anderson, that last little flurry kind of disgusted him a little bit, and he says, Katie bar the door, it looks like.
See, the Anderson has the edge on him now. He has the edge on him now because he knows the man can't really hurt him. So he's going to do just whatever he wants to do now.
Of course, that's the voice of Tom Jones with me here at ringside, and Dan Sanchez, the state boxing and wrestling inspector here, and it's great to have them both here at ringside with me. A front face lock by, and again, that shoulder butt to the back, and I'll tell you, David Anderson just punishing the man. He's just putting the blocks to him, punishing him, working him over, scoops.
I tell you, Joe, if I get a little, oh, that's it, man. That really hurts. That's it. There you go.
And a three count, and David Anderson puts the crush on El Fantastico with a tremendous suplex and a flying body press. Hey, a lot more action coming up. We'll be back with it right after this. Here we are back at ringside. Another great match here on Southwest Championship Wrestling getting underway. Hey, it's going to be terrific. Relampico Leon, the Lightning Lion in there against Nick Ramirez. Spectacular action. Tighten your seatbelts for this one. Here's Tom Jones and Dan Sanchez with me here at ringside.
You know, Joe, I'm going to put you on the spot. What do you think about this match? Who do you think going to come out a winner?
I think it's going to be a heck of a match. These little guys can really skitter around that ring. Dan, what do you think?
Aquí tenemos el tercer encuentro que está Nick Ramírez contra Relámpago León. Y queremos hacer nota que el referee, el tercer hombre en el cuadrátero, es nada menos que Víctor Mata, el hijo de Benny Mata.
Dan Sanchez, hey, it's going to be, and look at Relampico Leon with that whip. And Nick Ramirez, I'll tell you one thing, these are good wrestlers. That Nick gets better every time out, as do the young Lightning Lion. And there's a hip block that kip up, and he wheels him into the ropes and wheels him with an Irish whip. I guess we'd call that a Mexican whip when it's used like that. Whipper Watson called it an Irish whip.
I don't know what it's called, but it does hurt.
It whips them pretty good across that ring. Dan Sanchez just said a jalapeno flip here, well, whip. So we can call it what you want, but it's a heck of a wrestling move. If you can get the momentum up, you can take a great big guy. But Nick Ramirez and Relampico, a Japanese arm lock on him.
You know, Joe, since I've been in this area around here, I really love it. And, you know, the funny thing, I talked to my mom yesterday on the phone, and she said, son, when are you coming home? I said, well, you know, believe it or not, I really like it here because I met so many nice people, and they make me feel right at home. You know, white, black, the Mexican, and all. I love everybody. You know, if they don't love me, well, it's too bad, but I love them anyway.
Well spoken from a true sportsman. Remember that most popular wrestler contest is going to be going on for a little bit longer, a couple of more weeks. And look at Relampico Leon as he's taking Nick Ramirez. Well, look at that move.
You know, it's been a long time since I've seen a move like that. A long time.
Hey, great wrestling, great action. Tighten your seatbelts. This is spectacular. Remember, you can send that 1704 Blanco Road 78212 is the address to vote for your most popular wrestler. Could it be Nick Ramirez or Relampico Leon or Tom Jones? The Black Scorpion even has a couple of votes for that most popular wrestler.
Yeah, I wonder who is the Black Scorpion.
A hammerlock by Nick Ramirez. Whoops, he gets in. Whoa, what's going on? Whoa, look at that.
You know, Joe, I've got a lot of cards. Oh, well, look at that. I've got a lot of cards and letters, and I really appreciate the fans, but I tell you, there's another guy here that's going to really give me a run for my money. It's Wahoo, McDaniel, and Leon. Because
Scott Casey's getting a lot of votes, too.
Scott and Casey, they getting a lot, you know, and I really appreciate it. Appreciate that.
I'll tell you, Juan Reynosa's got a big family, and they're voting pretty heavy, too.
I'm pretty sure that they are.
Hey, just enjoy this match. Look at that as he picks him up and takes him down with a body lock. Both men up quickly to their feet. sensational action here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. Look at that by Nick Ramirez. Steps behind. Now that's a tricky move to a leg dive like that, stepping behind and tripping a man forward. That's a heck of a move. And it was very, very well done. Getting the leverage that way, I'm sure Relampico was ready to counter it and ended up right on his face. So Nick Ramirez, a highly skilled veteran wrestling star and a great youngster, the Lightning Lion.
You know, if I get a little quiet out here, Joe, I just have to look over me because I really get into these matches. I want to be up there.
Well, I know how it is, but of course that urge has kind of passed me by, Dan.
That's right. Aquí tenemos, señoras y señores, a Relámpago León con Nick Ramirez y están en medio del cuadrilátero. Y aquí tenemos el referee que es el hijo de Benny Mata. Se llama Víctor Mata.
Look at the action in that ring. Off those ropes and a flying headbutt by Relampico León. Off those ropes and another one, and boy, he caught him right on the chin. Scoops him, a body slam by Relampico León, and down goes Nick Ramirez. And a body press, and he bridges his way out.
Well, I'll tell you, that Nick was lucky then because I've seen Leon take a lot of them out with that move.
Hey, beautiful. Hey, he caught him a couple of good shots with that flying head scissors, and what a job Nick Ramirez did to bounce back. And not that he's not in trouble yet. He's got that reverse chinlock slapped on him, but hey, we're seeing some sensational wrestling action. I'll tell you, this is Joe Blanchard talking, along with Tom Jones and Dan Sanchez, and I need all the help I can get. I'm pinch hitting for Gene Goodson as well as Rapido Rodriguez, so it's I hope you fans will bear with me because I'm bringing all the action I can, and we got a lot of action right here in this match. Again, whipping him over is Relampico León and Nick Ramirez with the head scissors. Oh, look at that León. He comes up with a new move every week, doesn't he?
That'll take the wind right out of you.
He comes up with a new one every time I see him. Hey, he's all right. I'll tell you, he's going to be a dude. Look at that move by Nick Ramirez. A backbreaker over the shoulder, and he wheels him around. Hey, Nick's coming up with a few new ones that I've been in wrestling 30 years, and I haven't seen some of these. Again, into those ropes, wheels him over the, oh, did he crash him down to the mat.
And Nick Ramirez, he's taking a shortcut now. You see, he couldn't beat him fair and square, so now he's getting a little nasty with him.
Look at the move by Relampico León as he's sprung over. And out of the ring goes Nick Ramirez as Relampico León bombs away. Whoa! Action on Southwest Championship Wrestling. Tell your friends about it.
I think Nick would have been better off if he'd have went ahead and wrestled him clean.
I think so too. Hey, but we're seeing some kind of fantastic wrestling match right here.
But you know, not putting Nick down, I wrestled a man several times, and I've been lucky, you know, I've come out victorious. He can really get to you if you don't watch it.
He's a very, very good wrestler. Very good. Does a good job. A leg dive by Relampico and a leg split. Nick, whose wrestling skills were acquired south of the border, wrestled in many matches with stars such as Goliath and Gordman and Mil Mascaras south of the border. And we're lucky to have him right here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. As Nick Ramirez bridges his way out.
You know, Joe, between Wahoo McDaniel and the great Mil Mascaras, I would have to flip a coin and see which one I'd want for a partner because both of them are great.
There's no kidding about that. Hey, we got some more of the Funk Brothers, the World's Tag Team Champions. I know you'd like to have a look at this move. Oh, and he drops with the elbow.
Look at that. That hurts.
And he misses.
One time too many.
to the well one time, and Relampico bombs away with him. A body press by Relampico, and Nick barely gets those shoulders up. Relampico scoops him. Wheels into those ropes, and a backdrop. And that'll locate the back in a different area, I'll tell you that. Wild action here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. And a sunset flip, he might have him. Oh!
Leon almost slipped in, boy. He almost went to sleep on that move.
I think I got to get my throat in better shape. This substituting and announcing, it's hard to keep things going. I get interested in the match too. Nick Ramirez pounding away on Relampico Leon. In the ropes, across the ring from us. We're going to have Tully Blanchard. Nick, both men getting a little bit tired out there and shaken up. And Nick stopped to spit out the ropes, and that was a bad move.
You know, Joe, that's why I work out every day, because it takes a lot of energy up there in that ring.
You get cottonmouth in that ring, but just that's what happens. You turn around to clear your throat, and you get caught with a shot. Nick Ramirez back into the ring. He's stalling. He's catching his breath. I know. I've had to do, as Tom Jones says, you're back in shape. As Relampico Leon bombs away. Look at that, look at that, look at that move. Hey, sensational wrestling action here on Southwest Championship Wrestling.
That was a great move, Joe. He took the wind right out of him. You see, he kind of laid there for a while.
I believe that's a new one for me, too. I don't think I ever saw that one, Tom. Wheels him into that turnbuckle, and Nick Ramirez with a lot of stamina as he follows back, and I tell you, off those ropes, a high body press, and a 3 count. Well, you know, a match that good and that even. That's a kind of a look at that Relampico. What energy. Youth is wasted on the young, isn't it?
You know, I do a lot of moves. If I'd have done that, I'd end up on my head.
Hey, it's going to be something. We got a lot more action coming up. We'll be back with it right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at ringside on Southwest Championship Wrestling. The next match will be Joe Lopez against Southwest champion Tully Blanchard, and here is the Southwest Heavyweight Wrestling Champion.
Look at that belt. You know, I was sitting out in the truck listening on the monitor to Wahoo McDaniels talking about chasing all over the world for titles. Chasing, but not quite grasping. Well, I tell you what, Wahoo McDaniels, you also said right thing. This is the belt to have, the Southwest Heavyweight Championship belt. I tell you what, it's just been this far out of your grasp. It's always been just a tiny bit out of your grasp. And you talk about, you know, everybody wants to get me in no disqualification matches. They want them in my kind of match. No rules, no finishes, all this kind of stuff. Fences, strap matches. Why in the world don't these people have enough confidence in their own abilities to just get in there and wrestle with all the rules, pin the man, submission? I don't ever break the rules. I put my belt on line just in a wrestling match with all the rules put down by the state, by the NWA, by the AWA, by all professional wrestling all over the world. And I tell you what, I'll wrestle anybody, but they all want to wrestle the kid. They all want to get an advantage. They all want to be able to use their fists. They all want to be able to use brass knuckles or straps or fences to keep me caged in. Well, I tell you what, I use those rules to the best of my advantage. That's why the Southwest Championship belt is around my waist. And I tell you what, Wahoo McDaniels, You talk about cages and you talk about straps. You know, Mil Mascaras couldn't take my belt away from me. And I tell you what, Wahoo McDaniels, you will never, ever, it'll be the last day of my life that you could ever beat me in just a straight wrestling match, because you can't wrestle. All you can do is throw those big old chops and hit people with your big old belly and talk about your kind of match and talk about hamburger meat. Well, I tell you what, Wahoo McDaniels, have you ever looked in the mirror at yourself? Have you ever looked at your face, seen what hamburger meat really looks like? So you really know what you're talking about. Because if you looked at my face, you look how pretty I am. Because I tell you what, Wahoo, I've been in a cage match before. The great, strong Ivan Putski. Ivan Putski couldn't beat me in a cage match, so maybe you're in my kind of match. And don't you forget it.
Woo! Southwest champion Tully Blanchard, he's in there against Joe Lopez, former West Texas State quarterback, former Churchill High School quarterback. San Antonio, Texas, his hometown. Hey, we've got a lot of action coming up right here on Southwest Championship Wrestling. I know Tully Blanchard isn't one of Tom Jones' favorite people, and as a wrestler, maybe he isn't mine, but he's tough.
Well, Joe, you have to give the man credit. He's a champion, and anytime you're a champion, no matter what you do, you got to be good at it. So he's the champion. He's good at what he done, but I'm still on his trail.
Tully Blanchard, who has been training, and he catches Joe Lopez, and he whacks right into him and drives him down to his knees. Joe Lopez scooped and crashed into the turnbuckle by Tully Blanchard as he just bombs him right off the bat.
You know, Joe, I wrestled, well, I fought Tully several times, and he's the type of guy, once you get him cornered, he will fight, and Tully will hurt you. I know.
He's a smart, cagey man. He was a quarterback in high school. He thinks he thinks he's smarter than I was. I was a tackle, and he thinks he's smarter than everybody.
Well, you got to give credit where credit due. He's good at what he does, and he's tough. He can take it, and but he's beatable. I can beat the man, and he knows it. So he tried to shy away from me as much as he can, but I got him. See, he's going to bother me as much as he can.
Joe Lopez comes right up and nails Tully. Oh, and Tully throws a shot, and he drills Joe Lopez. And Joe's down. Whoa.
Joe Lopez is outclassed right now, and Tully knows that he's going to do whatever he wants to do with it.
Reflex, and he racks him up.
There's one thing right now, he's doing a lot of that just to agitate me because he sees me sitting out here. But I got to keep my cool because I don't want to interfere with the match and get the man disqualified.
Tom Jones, Dan.
Aquí tenemos el cuarto encuentro y está Joe Lopez con Tully Blanchard. Tully Blanchard es el campeón del Southwest Texas Wrestling.
Southwest champion Tully Blanchard. He continues to, and Tom Jones stands up into the turnbuckle. Oh, and Tully Blanchard drives. Oh, Tom terrific, Tom Jones. Watch out, Tom's been sitting in. I asked him to sit in with me. Wasn't scheduled to wrestle on this television.
See, I don't want to interfere with this match, Joe, but he keeps bothering me.
Tom Jones. It's hard to sit here and keep your cool, I know. I've been in the same boat a number of times, and a twisting leg lock as he goes into a figure four and sends you, whoa, and
That's that figure four leg lock. No one ever get out of that, and man, do it hurt.
it hurts and it can injure somebody, and there's the bell. As Tully Blanchard, a hold that Valentine made famous, Tully Blanchard with that figure four leg lock on Joe Lopez, and as Tully refuses to break, and whoa, and he chops him. Wahoo McDaniels is in there, he breaks it. Joe Lopez definitely bad shaken up by the figure four leg lock as Tully Blanchard. Wahoo McDaniels, hey, watch out. And into the ring post, Tully Blanchard, Wahoo McDaniels with an atomic drop. And Wahoo isn't through, Tully up and he's bleeding. Tully up and bleeding as Wahoo McDaniels. Joe Lopez hurt, but Tully's hurt too as Wahoo McDaniels is in there. And Tully backing off Wahoo McDaniels. And David Anderson and the Butcher leaning through those ropes. As a bleeding Tully Blanchard. Trying to tear loose.
I'll tell you what, he's got the wrong man on his trail now, because that Wahoo won't stop.
Wild action here on Southwest. Tully Blanchard as the Butcher Tully breaks loose. Wahoo's waiting there in the ring. They want the match right now. As David Anderson and Hussein the Butcher. Listen at the fans. Wahoo, 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 Wahoo. That's something. Hey. More action coming up. We'll be back with it right after this. Pandemonium reigns supreme, and here's one of the chief men. In fact, he is Chief Wahoo McDaniels.
Well, let me tell you something, Joe. You know, I'm filled up to about right here with that Tully Blanchard. You know, the man, he comes in here, he wants to run over everybody. He wants to hurt people. A prime example right there in the ring a while ago, he almost broke that guy's leg. He wouldn't break the Holt. And when he gets a bump on his head or gets hurt a little bit, he gets crawling out and has some of his friends come help him. Well, I'm going to tell you something, Tully Blanchard. Your time is coming. It's getting shorter and shorter. Oh, here he comes back now. He's got a little guts up. Well, let me tell you something. You see him?
You want to interfere in my matches? You get your big body up here.
Hey, this is, whoa, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting it right here. Whoa, look at, Tully Blanchard, the Southwest champion, Wahoo McDaniels. Pandemonium, wild action. Wahoo McDaniels ripping at the throat of Tully Blanchard, gouging in those, a wild man. Wahoo McDaniels ripping at the bloody Tully Blanchard. Hussein the Butcher, who's on this next match, coming in. He comes in, chops Wahoo McDaniels, hammers him a shot. Tully hurt as Wahoo bombs the Butcher. Wahoo McDaniels, king of the mountain. Wahoo McDaniels is king of the mountain.
No, Joe, I'd like to get in on this, but as being a guest commentator out here with you, you just can't do that. It's hard for me to sit out here and watch this.
Dan and I both have a hold of your coattail.
Boy, I'd love to.
Again, Wahoo McDaniels. And again, Tully Blanchard is out of that ring. Tully shaken up. Hussein the Butcher. Wahoo's waiting, a bloody, battered Tully Blanchard. Hussein the Butcher, Ken Johnson. Do we have pandemonium here on Southwest Championship Wrestling? Certainly television's most exciting hour. Tell your friends about it. Tune us in not only this week, but every week for all the action. Come on out to 1704 Blanker. Here's Tully again. Face a mask of blood.
I'll tell you what, Tully asked for that one. He bit off a little bit more than he could chew that time.
He jumped right in the ring and made a challenge. I heard it. And
I'll tell you what, the trouble that Tully Blanchard has his back end in right now with Wahoo and myself on his trail, I don't know. He better really watch out.
Tully misses and he skitters right back out of there. Trying for that elbow. Wahoo quick out of the way.
Well, I tell you, between myself and Wahoo, I don't know which one's going to get that title, but one of us is going to get that title.
The voice of Tom Terrific, Tom Jones, here with me at ringside. We got a match with the Butcher and El Bronco. If it ever gets started, you see Bronco in the ring. Wahoo having words with the Butcher now. Hussein the Butcher. The Butcher in the ring, and Bronco attacks him, and there's the bell, and we're underway. The match is underway. Whoo! As Hussein the Butcher rips into the masked man from south of the border, and again decks him.
Now there's a man, you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know whether he's going to wrestle or pull out something, hit you in the eye and the throat with it. Really, you don't know how to go after the man.
Certainly he's a wild man in that ring. Hussein the Butcher.
I tell you what, if I could get away with it, I'd like to get him in the ring with a baseball bat, but I know it's impossible because you don't know what the man has.
He certainly is willing to carry a few weapons in there. As Hussein the Butcher bombing away on El Bronco, hammers into him. High in the air, drops with that knee. A big man, 276 pounds.
Yeah, he hit you right on the Adam's apple with that too, because I've had it. You can't hardly breathe.
A wild, hysterical look in the face of Hussein the Butcher as he decks the much smaller El Bronco. Pandemonium, you bet. You got it right here. Southwest Championship Wrestling action. As the Butcher stands a couple of licks and just takes Bronco up and crashes him into the turnbuckle above us.
The stuff that he's doing now is uncalled for. He has no reason to do that at all. Why don't he wrestle the man fair and square?
I tell you, it's not too hard for us not to interfere, Dan, but old Tom, he's having a tough time here.
Aquí tenemos a Tom Jones en la orilla del ring también, que está viendo al Butcher con el Paul Anderson.
Dan Sanchez along with Joe Blanchard and Tom Jones calling the action for you. I just said you're having a tough time here. Dan and I can sit pretty relaxed and watch the action, but not you.
I'll tell you, Joe, if he comes out here, like I say, you don't know what he's got in his boots. I'm going to hit him with this chair. I mean it.
Tom Jones, Mr. Tom Terrific himself. Rugged, wild action. As Hussein the Butcher slams into El Bronco. Butcher, the giant Hussein's wrestling star, Sudanese star, drops with that big knee. Again, high in the air, bombing across Bronco. And he gets the camel clutch on El Bronco.
That's that camel clutch. It puts the pressure on your neck and the lower part of your back, man. You can't hardly breathe on that.
It's a mighty tough hold, I'll tell you that. And I don't think El Bronco is going to be able to stand it. Hey, we got a winner. Hussein the Butcher. As Victor Mata shoves him off. Wild action. We got a lot more coming. We'll be back with it right after this. I'm here with two great wrestling stars, David Anderson, one half of the Wrecking Crew from Minnesota. Here he is.
You know, everywhere we go, all we hear is boos. People talk about how we cheat, how we do people wrong. But the fact remains, everywhere we go, we win. We stay undefeated. The Anderson name means a lot, and I guarantee you, you know, all these people coming out here getting in other people's business and getting in that business and all that, well, you know, my brother's hurt right now. but it's just going to be a minor energy, and it will be just a short time before he's back and before we're the World Tag Team Champions. But now I have Hussein, and he thinks exactly like I do. Victory at all costs, no matter what. And let the message go out to everyone. The Minnesota Wrecking Crew is a long way from through.
Here's the Butcher, the
I
Wow
want to say
Man.
one thing. There'll be no peace in the world today until the Palestinians is free, until my people in South Africa are free. There's going to be more hell raised around here than the laws would ever allow. The Butcher, he said that. You can arrest the show on that. It's sure as I'm standing here. And so as I'm standing here, we're going to create more problems you ever dreamed of.
Hey, we'll be back next week with a lot more action, a lot more excitement. Until then, this is Joe Blanchard saying adios.